he have your hearing? Does he have your hearing?
No, I don't have his hearing.
Oh.
You guys have just got a cock in your mouth.
But see, that's why he has to edit it, because of shit like that.
Well, that's why they make editing.
Another key part to preparation for a big tournament is cleaning up so you look good, feel good, play good. Ready to ride off to the MSPT in Evansville, hour-and-a-half drive. I couldn't decide on what to wear, what sunglasses to wear. I either wanted to wear my dad glasses, my World Series of Poker glasses, or just the usual no glasses. I usually don't wear sunglasses when I play, so I'm gonna make a game of it. My buddies that I'm going with are two brothers, and one of them always says the other one's name, like quite a bit. I don't know if anyone else notices this or not. So every time he says Josh, I'm going to change sunglasses or to no sunglasses and alternate between the three options. And over the course of the hour-and-a-half, we'll see what happens. And I'll decide when the car's in park. I can't even say when I get to the Trop because he might say his name in the parking garage.
Thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe at home? So that I'm counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just start at top the lungs. It's all you need to do.
Alright guys, let's first talk about the table draw. I didn't receive a very favorable draw. To my left was a cash game regular there at the Tropicana, who me and my buddy Andy were talking plays lag, probably the best that anyone around there can play lag. Super loose, super aggressive, and he times it really well. The next seat was a really young kid who looked like he was playing pretty dang solid. The next seat was another cash regular and a tournament grinder. The next seat was a young unknown. Seat 10 was an older gentleman who was an unknown. Seat 1 was a guy who says he predominantly plays cash games, so he was going to be getting the tournament run good for playing in one of his first bigger tournaments. Seat 2 was another traveling tournament player. Seat 3 was an older gentleman who also plays quite a bit of tournaments at the Trop and at the HSI. And seat 4 was the fish at the table. And I was seat 5. So that is a huge count of what looked like pretty solid players with just 2 to 3 spots at the table to try and target. It definitely wasn't as soft as a table draw that I usually see at these events. In the first level, we get pocket kings in the cutoff. Seat 2 had raised to 300. With kings, I definitely want to build a pot, so I 3-bet to 800. Everyone else folded. He thought about it for a little bit, acted like he was going to raise, and in the end called 500 more. We see a 5-5-4 rainbow flop. He checks. I bet a little over half the pot, 1100. He quickly calls 1100. We see a jack turn. He checks once again. I bet just about half the pot again, trying to keep him along for 2000, which he quickly calls again. And the river's a 3. He checked again. Other than his initial raise, he's shown weakness in the hand, so I'm trying to figure out what I could bet that he would pay. So I choose a smallish bet, 2800. He tanked forever, ultimately called. I showed my kings and he mucked. He acted like he had 10s there and that he was going to 4-bet me pre-flop. That could have slowed the action down for me some, because of course I'd be worrying about aces. But with the way it went down, I didn't worry about any holdings that beat me this hand. In level 2, we get another premium hand, pocket aces under the gun. I would sometimes limp here, hoping someone else would raise so that I could re-raise them, but that is a risky play, so I went with a small raise to try to induce someone to 3-bet me, and that was just over double at 375. It folds around to seat 9, who calls the 375, and everyone else folds. We see a queen 8-4 rainbow flop. Nothing scares me, so I'm going to continue my action here, and I bet 500, a little over half the pot, to which he raises to 1500. I think I faltered here. I should have re-raised him or done something crazy. Based on the other vlogs and things I've been watching, people induce action early with hands like this, but I tend to play a little too safe and just call here. I also have a problem of seeing the worst case scenario, like when I had aces in an earlier vlog and a guy hit a set of queens against me. Flashbacks happen during my play. The turn is a 7 of diamonds. I decide to check, slow down, let him keep going with the action with all intentions of just calling him down. He bets 2200. I call the 2200, and the river's a 5. Overall, not a scary board, but I do check to see what money he'll put out there because I'm not sure of what he'll call at this point. And unfortunately, he checks behind. I show my aces, and he mucks. I do have a problem of showing my hand right away. That does give the other players an opportunity to muck to where I never see what they were holding. That's just the way I play. Maybe I should slow down and be that a-hole who says, oh, it was his action, just to get more information. I should probably do that more often. A little while later, we get pocket 7s in the hijack. It folds around to me, and I've decided today that I did not want to limp any hands that I open. So I raise to 525. Seat 6, the aforementioned lag player, calls 525. Everyone else folds, and we see a 10-3-4 rainbow flop. I bet out a little over half the pot at 800. He thinks for a while and calls 800. The turn is an ace. I decide to keep going, bet out 1300. At this point, he's grabbing his chips, grabbing his cards, acting like he's going to fold. I've seen him do this many times. He usually wakes up with a weak ace here. I know it. I think he knows I know it. He ends up calling the 1300. The river's a 5 of hearts, which brings a backdoor flush draw. I don't think he has hearts here. I do think he has an ace. But even with my better judgment, I decide to bet into him 2600. Evidently, it was a good size bet because he thought for quite a while. Maybe he thought I had a flush, or he thought I had a big ace. He eventually called 2600 and showed ace jack. So he floated my flop bet with nada, and he said he only called the river bet because it would have left him too short. I think it would have left him with less than 8K total. Whatever works for him. It worked for him this time. First break, 29K from the 20K starting stack. I am thinking pretty good, playing pretty good. I'm also getting some decent hands. I did play one hand bad. The guy, I've played cash with him quite a bit, so I know how he plays, and the turn came an ace. I knew he had an ace, but I still bet out into him on the river. against my better judgment. Nothing from here on out will be against my better judgment. So 3 levels and about an hour and a half later, we get pocket 7s in the hijack again. We'd been winning a few small pots here and there and blinding down here and there, so we're still about where we were an hour and a half ago at break, around 28k. Deja vu, it folded around to me, so I raised to 1100, and to follow suit, the cutoff lag player called 1100 once again. Everyone else folded, leaving us heads up. The flop is ace 3-4 rainbow. With the way the last pocket 7's hand played out against him, I think he thinks that I would think he has an ace and that I would just check. So I decide to bet out to show strength, and I bet 2500. Once again, he tanks for quite a while, gives the whole fold, grabbing his cards, grabbing his chips, alternating play that he does. And in the end, he grabs all of them and goes all in for 10k. And I sit back and start thinking to myself, does he have a weak ace here? Do I want to call 7,500, gambling with him? Even if he has pocket jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s, anything, he's got me beat. I really wish I would have called so I could see his hand, but I did fold here. And I asked him if he woke up with an ace again, and he said he wouldn't put all his chips in with nothing. He asked me if I had a pair. I said I only play pairs. And then he said he had me murdered on that flop. All I can do is believe him. A little while later, we get ace-king spades in the small blind. The hijack raised to 1,000. The cutoff called 1,000. And the dealer called 1,000. I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but with that many people calling the raise and me being out of position post-flop, I just called the 800 more. I probably should have raised to try to thin the field a little bit, but I think ace-king is a hand where it's okay to get in and see a flop with multiple people. The big blind did not want a part of it and folded. We see a ace 5-10 heart flop. I peed my pants, jump right out, betting 2,500. The hijack and cutoff both fold, and the dealer to the right of me calls 2,500. The turn is a king of diamonds, giving me 2 pair. I grab a single gray chip, 5k, toss it out there. At this point, he's eyeing me out of the corner of his eye, so I'm staring him down out of the corner of my eye, and he calls 5,000. The river's a blank, deuce. I decide to see what he's going to do and check my 2 pair. There are flushes and straights out there. This guy didn't play very many hands. He's not the fish that was there at the start of the game. He is a new player. The fish exited quickly. He checked behind. I show my ace-king, expecting to be good here quite a bit of the time, but he flopped a set of 5s. I possibly lost the minimum there with that turn card, although I probably would have ran scared with a raise, and he wouldn't have seen much action on the river. Unfortunate hand. Later on, we get pocket 3s, little Larry Bird in the cutoff with a little over 25 big blinds. Middle position limps 500. It gets to me. I decide here to limp 500 as well. The dealer folded, small blind folded, and the big blind checks. We see a queen 4-2 rainbow flop. The big blind checked and middle position bets 1,000. I quickly call 1,000. This hand I was sort of on autopilot and didn't do a whole lot of thinking. The big blind folded. The turn's a 5, giving us an open-ended straight draw. Middle position continues and bets 2,000. And I all but snap shove for 10,000. He really didn't think too long and called and showed queen 10 off for the pair of queens. And the river's another 2, and we are out of the tournament. There are 2 things I could have done differently this hand. 1, folded it, just ran away from 3-3, or I could have aggressively raised there and it may have gotten him to fold. Really not sure. He did have a lot of chips. He may not have went anywhere. He's the cash game player. He was having a lot of run good that night. It is what it is. It was a very fun tournament. And we are out of the regional event. I played pretty decently for the most part. There was a couple hands I played wrong. The hand that I had 2 pair and the guy had trips set. I am disappointed with the way I went out. I still had, 20 big blinds. I could have hung on there for a little bit longer. I should have probably raised pre-flop. Not as epic of a vlog as I would hope, guys. On the first comeback from my 2-week break and the questions and answers, I thought for sure I'd be doing something magical for you, but not today. I played too terribly, but I do want your guys' analysis as usual. I think that I got more chips than I usually would have on some of those hands, and I lost the minimum on some of those hands compared to what I would have lost in the past. I don't know, it just sucks. It always sucks, but this really sucks. Alright gang, we're drinking coffee. The room's too big right now. My buddies are now playing cash, so I put my name on the list. I was like 53rd, now I'm 14th. Need to get in there and just take what I've learned and thought of so far and play well, and ignore what just happened on the tournament today. Plus 26 in about 45 minutes. These guys wanted to leave. 2 of them ended up for the evening, 1 of them ended down for the evening along with me. But the plus 26 gives me, momentum. That's the word. Here we go. Momentum. Everything's uphill from here.
But I mean, like, she was betting throughout the whole time.
She didn't have one till the end. She didn't.
Then you start betting.
She had 3 high.
I just thought she was playing fishy. When she first got in the hand, I said, I can't beat you. Before the flop.
Now you have to make a wish. And you wish.